Recording.
Right.
So now our podcast can start for real.
Yeah, the thing is, none of us have anything really planned. So.
Well, that's why it's going to be a nice short podcast. Short.
Do you have my short?
Oh yeah, it's in my bag. It should be in the outside side pocket. Yeah, in the bedroom. We are 8 damn bananas. The comments make these podcasts infinitely better.
Just so you guys know, there was a really nice little potted plant there. I swapped it out for bananas by suggestion.
It was a nice little succulent plant. Ilya is, this is crazy, y'all are all together in person. It is crazy, I haven't fully
we did get
that.
strawberries.
Yeah,
they were like $1.50, which was crazy. Blew our minds.
Cheap. In Vancouver, it's like $3.50 when it's in season. So I was just like, I just kept freaking out.
Wow.
Yeah, we got Gibbs and Ilya. Yeah, no, well, because they're imported from California, right? So that they just jacked the price up.
I know.
Who else do we know? We've got some of our regulars, Losing Limo. We've got Gibbs. We've got Ilya's in the chat.
Luigi fan.
Luigi, Hunter Moose, Teddy Bear was the first person to jump in.
Wasn't Tevye streaming or something earlier, or I don't know?
Well, he was posting the in the Discord all the links to the press events and everything. So I don't know if he was doing reactions. We were out in downtown while that was happening, so we didn't actually watch the links.
Trying to plan this out.
Trying to plan. We don't have our Google Doc.
We're winging it. We're going to tell you all about our first
day one,
day
two.
Day one, yeah.
I guess meeting Holly and not meeting Cliff.
No.
Yeah. I mean, it would be probably more exciting once we actually go to E3 and we have more to tell you, and we don't have media passes, so we actually can't. We're not supposed to take any videos or anything while we're in E3, so that's kind of.
That's true. So we won't have any exclusive inside footage.
We'll see what happens.
Rick wants to try.
I want to try.
Are we all ready though?
I guess we are ready.
All right. What's up, everybody? I am Jesse, or GameOverJesse as all of you may know me, and here on the Hylian Gamescast, the first ever E3 episode of the Hylian Gamescast, we're all together. RMFH, Rick is also here.
What's up, everybody?
We have Daniel, our original co-host.
The OG co-host.
And we have Kayla, our new co-host. For the first time, we are all together in LA, flew in from all different parts of, Canada and America. So, yeah, Jesse banana. No, the bananas are to throw if the Yiga try to attack us.
Just in case.
When the Nintendo ninjas come, we can just throw the bananas and run away. So, bananas are there for our protection.
Yes.
So today, we all got here yesterday. About 2 days before E3 officially starts on Sunday, but the press conferences are still ongoing, but the show floor doesn't open up until Tuesday. So today we just kind of wandered around, got food, went to E3 Live, and yesterday we all got settled in. Rick and I walked for a couple of miles.
Yeah, with all of our baggage.
Yeah, I got sunburned really bad, and we tried meeting up with Cliff. Couldn't find him. We met up with Holly twice. Went out to eat. So we're gonna get our podcast officially started.
Yes.
So the first part of coming to E3 is the excitement of getting ready.
Yeah.
And the actual plane trip to get here. So, since you were the first one on a plane, Rick, how was it for you getting on a plane, coming to E3 for the first time, the excitement?
Well, I can say that my trip went a little bit easier than all these guys. I actually live in California, so it was only like a 45-minute flight. I hadn't been on a plane since I was about 12 or 13, something like that. So It was a little nerve-wracking for me at first, but you know, once I got on the plane and was settled and landed and everything, it was all good. And then I waited for Jesse for I think an hour and a half. And then once we met up, it was a $50 taxi cab. It was either that or a $70 Uber ride from the airport, which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And then we went to the convention center, got there way too early, couldn't get our badges, didn't open until 1:30. So we walked all the way to the Airbnb, and it was about 3 miles. So it was an hour walk. We didn't plan it out very well, but we made it, and it was actually a really good experience for me. I had a lot of fun doing the whole like plane trip and everything, just because I didn't have to do any layovers or anything like that. So any of you coming from out of state, get ready for a long trip.
Yeah, for me, it was a very nerve-wracking, hectic experience because my first flight, or my original flight, was delayed. It was to Washington, D.C., and then from Washington, D.C., I would have been flying to L.A. That flight was delayed, so they switched me to land in Chicago and get on a connecting flight there to get to L.A. But then that flight was delayed, and instead of giving me another one to ensure that I would make it to L.A. at the time that I was supposed to, or at least before, they didn't change the flight again. So this time my plane landed after the connecting flight had already left. So at first I had to stand in line for about 2 or 3 hours with customer service with tons of other people who had missed their flight. I had a heavy backpack with my laptop, everything inside of it, Nintendo Switch, and then I had my duffel bag with like the microphone, clothes, everything. So both bags were heavy. Standing in line was horrible. And finally, when I had a bit of a relief talking to the customer assistants, said they could fix my flight so that I could get into LA. But then they told me it would be 6 p.m. that I would be leaving Chicago.
Oh, good Lord.
So I just kind of gave up for a little bit and walked around since there was nothing else I could do until 6. And I came across the only food store that was in that area of the airport, and they had like little turkey roll-ups that you could buy for like $10. So I got that, and I went back after I had ate and spoke to one of the assistants that helped me earlier that day. And all of a sudden, there was a flight that I could catch that was leaving in just a few hours. So I got very lucky. And then she told me there was a McDonald's nearby, so I walked to the McDonald's and got a huge bag of food for the same price that I got a tiny sandwich. And then I got on my flight from Chicago to LA, got in LA, went on an adventure of sorts to find Rick. We took the taxi, like he said. We went to E3 first, or the convention center where they are hosting E3. And then we walked back here, which was about an hour and a half walk, and kind of sat around until we could check in, and then we walked to like throughout Koreatown, and then came back, and then we just waited on these guys.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
So you guys landed about what, 8 a.m. and was it, or that? What time did you touch down?
Oh yeah, about 8 a.m.
Right.
God.
Yeah.
So
mine must have been 10 a.m.
10 a.m. So we woke up at like 8 a.m.
Yeah.
So we had a very easy trip. Yeah, so Kayla and I drove down, when we were booking flights, like we decided to drive down from Vancouver to Bellingham and fly from there because the price of the plane tickets was infinitely cheaper, like just so much less if we didn't have to cross any borders on the plane. So we drove across the border to Bellingham. That was like pretty, 2 hour?
If that,
really-
it
not
felt
even.
really short.
We
We were expecting it to be a lot longer.
Yeah, it was a pretty short drive. And then we flew out from Bellingham. And like honestly, it was like a very smooth trip. Like we didn't touch down. Like our flight left at 3:53. We didn't have to cross any time zones or anything. We touched down at like 6:30.
Yeah.
Something like that. So it was also from the airport. Cab ride like $50. A little bit more because our driver got lost. He should have known how to get there.
His fault.
Yeah, he was bragging about how well he knew the city and everything, and then he couldn't find this place. So, but yeah, I mean, it was a really good flight. I'm glad that we actually went together because then during the flight we were just playing Splatoon and Rocket League and everything together. So
a lot better than my flight.
Yes, it was just like a very easy day.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then so like we kind of get here, we pull up in the cab, burst through the door, we're like, "What's up?" And these guys are like asleep on the couch. And we're like bursting in, like, "What up, everybody?" Like so psyched out of our minds.
We're like, "Oh, what are you guys doing?" Oh, Rick was sleeping.
Yeah, I was
Passed out.
like, I was
Extremely tired.
Like these guys went over, like they pulled all-nighters, and we're just jumping in. Yeah, so it was an infinitely cheaper flight for us.
After like 30 to 40 hours,
Easier.
I finally got some sleep.
Yeah. And then, we stayed up super late too, like well past midnight, and I realized I sound like an old man saying that super late.
For me, it would have been like 3 a.m.
Yeah.
Tennessee.
Yeah, well that's true, but yeah, it was pretty good. I don't know if you have anything to add.
No,
We
it
went
was.
together.
I mean, the only thing I can really add is if you don't know anything about Daniel, basically, like I'm gonna be hanging out with Daniel for the next like 6 days straight because we're traveling together. So it's just gonna be like puns, really weird jokes.
Oh yeah.
Things like kind of go over my head, and I'm like, wait, what did you just say to me? So yeah, it's gonna be like that. One of us is probably gonna kill the other.
Oh yeah.
He might spontaneously combust.
I keep saying my feet are gonna catch on fire. Oh, I didn't. I thought I was totally ready for LA's heat because Rick keeps laughing at me because I'm like, it's so hot. I'm telling you, Canada's colder. When we left, it was like raining. Okay.
Yeah.
It was like a cloudy, rainy day, and yeah, no, we got here, and I had like totally packed like all my like t-shirts, and like I even bought shorts to come here because I'm super lame and don't own any shorts even, and or didn't. And then like I'm coming here and I'm even still like I'm like, oh my god, it's so hot, because like in Vancouver it's like 22 degrees Celsius. That's like super hot, a super hot day, and then here it's 30. So
it was really funny because we got up this morning and I looked at Daniel and I was like, you're gonna wear pants outside. It's supposed to be a high of 29. You're gonna die.
yeah. So
I have to say, it's cool seeing other people in person wearing
I
shirts.
know. This is amazing.
Queen.
Did you get like the same type of shirt, just different sizes?
I think
we were I think we actually got the same
I think
size.
we got the exact same. Is yours a small?
Yeah.
Yeah, mine's a small too.
Oh, nice.
I'm not a very large person. The first thing that shocked me when we walked in, though, and then these guys got up, as just it dawned on me, like I am not a tall person. Oh no. Yeah, but it was good. People are. We've got a lot of questions coming up in the chat here. I don't know if you guys wanna
We'll go through the questions
take
towards the
these.
end.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see.
But save them. Don't worry, guys. This is a very PG stream we've got going on right now.
Just tear off the
totally
stickers.
G-rated.
No, so after we all got here, we had everything put up. We gave Daniel his obligatory hugs.
Yes.
And then we took off to get our badges at E3. While we were there walking around, Holly messaged us on Twitter, asked us to come hang out. We went to some restaurant. I don't know
What was
the
it
name
called?
is.
Something.
I honestly
Roundhouse?
don't remember. No,
Something
it
like
wasn't
a
even
bar
anything
and grill.
like that.
Yeah,
It was good though. Actually,
It's like really close to like the Microsoft like building.
Yeah, it's like right
right by
across
the
the
JW
street
Hotel.
from the
Yeah.
It's
so
like
we-
around the corner from Starbucks.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah, no, we had a good dinner with Holly. It was nice to catch up with her, actually see her in person as well.
Yeah.
This is like a totally new.
Totally
thing.
would
Yeah.
have not realized
Yeah.
it was her unless it was for her tattoos.
I'm telling you, I recognized her as soon as I saw her. I was like, "There's Holly."
Because she was just standing there and like no one was around her.
Yeah.
And I had met her like a couple of hours earlier, but even with like meeting her previously, just her standing there, like I was still looking past.
Yeah.
Like I seen the person standing there and I was like, that's not her.
Yeah.
But apparently I've done that a lot because we've seen the person who owns or used to own the guy that runs Epic Mealtime. We seen yesterday. Rick and I seen him just standing around at the E3 booth, or I believe it was him. And then we seen him later on when we were there with Holly. And then I seen Phil Spencer just like walking around, but I was like, is that Phil or is that just someone who looks like Phil? I'm guessing it was Phil Spencer because apparently there's important famous people just casually walking around everywhere. To skip later on into today, we seen Adam Sessler, who used to be on G4 TV, which was like for those of you who don't know, it was a video game television channel. G4 TV was a channel that was all video game related reviews, gameplay, esports before they were called esports. Like they would have people playing
news,
Medal of Honor, stuff like that. Yeah, basically everything you would get from YouTube gaming channels was just all on TV at the time. And he was on a few different shows, most well known for X-Play with Morgan Webb, I believe.
Yep.
And then G4 TV got canceled and changed to something else. They stopped doing video game stuff. Attack of the Show was another famous one, which had
Attack of the Show,
which he was on it a few times because all the hosts kind of collaborated a lot. I forgot the name of the main host of that. There was
it Kevin?
Well, Sarah Underwood.
Olivia Munn.
Olivia Munn, who's in X-Men now.
Yep.
Yeah.
She's been in a lot of movies recently.
Sarah Underwood, who's been a couple of movies, but mostly known for being like Playboy's Playmate of the Year, kind of like Holly.
Right.
And then I forgot what the guy's name was. I used to host it. I feel bad. He has a podcast called
Kevin Pereira, was that his name?
Kevin Pereira?
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
I think that was him.
I think his podcast is like it has like some weird sarcastic title. I forgot what it's called. But I used to watch it. He would interview a lot of people. I really liked it. He had Adam Sessler, I believe, on one. This was after the whole G4 TV thing. But anyways, we seen Adam Sessler. I wanted to say hi, but I didn't really know if it was him or not. And then after Rick noticed it was him as well, I guess it was him. He was wearing sunglasses and a hat, so I guess he was trying to not be noticed, which I guess worked out for him. And then later on, like literally 5-10 minutes later, we ran into Bill Trinan, which is the person who's always translating for Miyamoto, and I was like, I think that's Bill Trinan. Like he's dressed in his Nintendo shirt, like really nice casual business pants. And I was like, I think that's Bill Trinan, and we just kept looking at him.
Like, yep, it is. And we're just all
turned around.
It was like friggin' envelope.
His name tag just like turned around and it said Bill, and I was like, okay, yeah, that's probably Bill.
Yeah, we probably looked like a couple of freaks because he's just walking by and we're all just like, like honestly.
So then,
froze up.
Yeah. So then I was like, if that's Bill, Miyamoto must be like somewhere within 100 yards.
Bill.
Another thing we also went to was the YouTube Live. And Jesse and Daniel went in there and
we just walked in.
we totally weren't supposed to. But people like Boogie 2988 was doing something there.
He was getting his makeup done. To go.
We saw Angry Joe as well. He was sitting like a few feet away from us, so it was pretty cool.
They also saw Ninja, who they described as a guy with green hair.
Yeah, I have no idea who Ninja is. So.
He's not a real ninja.
No.
Because if he was, we would not have seen him.
We've seen plenty of Nintendo ninjas. Because there was everyone wearing like the brand new Nintendo ambassador shirts.
Jeez, they're just like hanging out. We went to Starbucks to grab some coffee, and they're just like a bunch of them in there.
Yeah. Also, for the people who are wondering, this is what the badges.
So you were like you closed it in a little. You were like way far from the rest of us. We're all.
I was like, oh, you guys are gross.
So see, it has the name there, Jesse McCarty with GameOverJesse. It has this really cool Nintendo Switch thing, which has ARMS, Mario, Zelda. Basically, it looks like they just used designs for all of the other Nintendo brands to put Smash Brothers on there. But the cool thing, unannounced, you see there is ARMS characters on there.
That's true.
But it is a Nintendo Switch Smash Brothers land. So
I didn't notice that.
is this confirming ARMS?
Maybe, but I mean, there's Mario in Mario Kart, isn't there? And there's Mario Tennis
Mario
on there
Tennis,
as well.
I didn't even see that.
There's Mario Tennis and I'm pretty sure I saw Mario Kart on there. Oh yeah, there it is, Mario Kart.
So, because they
there
touched
as
base
well.
on Boogie, I wanted to talk about how I was haunted by Boogie today.
At 10 out of 10 Boogie haunting.
I was like Rick and I were looking for Daniel and Jesse, and so we walk over, and I look through this glass door, and I see Boogie's face, and I was like, what the heck? So I thought he was like sitting behind me on the patio, so I turned around, and I didn't see him anywhere. And then I looked back, and then his face was gone, and I was like, what?
Boogie's
Did you
ghost.
just see Boogie? And Rick was like, yeah, Boogie's getting his makeup done right there. And I was like, I just got haunted by Boogie.
No, like when Daniel and I, because they stayed on the outside where like you could go and like YouTube would be recording a live audience. So we were sitting there with a live audience. And I think that's where the Angry Joe was as well.
Yeah.
And they gave you this red wristband, which Holly told us about yesterday.
Oh, yesterday hers was yellow.
Yeah.
Oh.
They
So
probably
they
give you
change it
different
every
colors
day.
for every day.
Sure.
Yeah, so you have to like go in and sign a contract.
No, Supreme Leader Toadie's not dead.
Maybe it was his ghost.
Oh no.
Yeah. No, like he posted pictures yesterday with Holly. So he can't.
That's true.
He can't be dead.
He can't be dead.
And
Well, no, but I mean,
we
there
were
was a whole
like
day
1
between.
feet, 1 foot, 2 meters, 3 meters away from him. What's that for you? 3 meters? Yeah, 1 meter.
No, it was like at least 1.5 meters.
Alright.
Very close to us.
So we were a number of potential meters away from him. But I kind of feel bad because I don't really know who Angry Joe or Boogie is. Like,
Boogie's a cool dude.
Yeah, I like Boogie.
Yeah, you should watch his stuff.
so feel bad about that. But when we were inside, I've noticed everyone who has cool colored hair, like Kayla over here. We've seen 2-3 people with like brightly neon blue hair. So that's been interesting. It always like grabs your attention. Other than Holly, we haven't met anyone. We know Just Cliff messaged us, told us he was here, but we weren't able to find him. Nate at Nintendo Prime, a bunch of other people are also here. Gibbs, Ashley are here.
Yeah.
Who you all may know from the Discord. Actually, Gibbs was on last week's
Yeah.
podcast.
And we were invited to go to Nate's. He's streaming actually all day in his hotel, but his hotel is that $50 cab ride away, so
Yeah.
we did not go to see him
Yeah.
today.
And then we were invited to a party tonight being hosted by Nintendo and PlayStation Enthusiasts is a website. One of their editors and video hosts, Brett, who some of you may know, he messaged me on the Facebook and invited us to a party at the Golden Gopher, which maybe I should have said that.
Oh no,
Instant
everyone's
regret.
coming.
I don't.
But you don't know what time it's at 9
Yeah.
p.m. today, so joke's on you.
Yeah.
No, but
There's, it was the most interesting thing happened when Daniel and I got lost from Rick and Kayla, and they were hanging out in the YouTube live area, which is what I was trying to say earlier, but I
Right.
got off topic. But they were hanging out there, and we just kind of walked through the door because the woman said like, "Go out the door, turn left," and I thought she meant go through the other doors. So we just went through the doors, and there's just like a bunch of TVs and monitors and computers and laptops and microphones and video cameras. Everybody there's wearing a big, legitimate, professional-looking
and
badge.
they had different passes as well that they were
Yeah.
hanging, but instead of being an E3 one, it was like just a YouTube one with the big YouTube logo
Yeah.
and stuff.
Yeah.
So it was very official.
So
looking.
like in the back they had a bar, or what I imagined was a bar, but then now they're using it for like put laptops on to like for the video production. So I just went back to the bar because Holly said they had like free drinks and everything. Maybe that was just yesterday. So I went to the bar expecting like someone to come up and there'd be like actual free drinks and stuff.
Yeah.
But I started looking around and I was like, everyone here, which I think at the time was just one girl, and she had her laptop and she was doing like some professional looking stuff, like she wasn't just checking Twitter. So after I seen her, I started looking around and I noticed every single person had the badge, and I was like, Daniel, I feel out of place.
And it was like a TV studio in there. You know, they had like the cameras on the cranes and everything, and screens on the ceilings, and everyone has clipboards and all this stuff. And I'm like, we do not belong. Like we should probably get out of here.
No, to their credit, I think everyone there noticed we weren't supposed to be there, but they were too nice to come up and tell us to leave.
They didn't say anything. We walked through the whole place and just nothing.
We took like 2 steps back to where they had like all of the video production going on. So they had like the wall was covered in monitors and computers and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Cables going everywhere, and I was like, I don't think we're supposed to be back here. So
we just turned around. So, oops.
Yeah. And then we noticed that Rick and Kayla wasn't in there, so we just left. It's like, okay, I guess wristbands don't get you in here. And it was the room where, on the other side, where they give you the wristbands, there's like a big bouncer guy sitting in the chair, like security. And the room that he was keeping secure, as his job title implies, was the room that we were in. So we basically just walked around him.
Yeah, and we're like, Jesse was like, I think this is the room that bouncer is trying to keep people out of going into. And I'm like, yeah, we're not supposed to be in this room right now.
We went back out and I had lemonade. I broke my cup on accident.
Whatever.
Shamefully.
You're just like sitting there playing with it. It's like.
Yeah. And we went to Starbucks and IHOP early this morning. It was the first thing we did when we woke up. We went to
pancake breakfast.
No, the first thing we did, we went to get our E3 badges because we weren't able to get them last night because they were closed. And that's when Holly messaged us. We were trying to get our badges. And then today we actually got our badges. We went into E3, but only the shop was open.
And just the gift shop.
Yeah, and I even made the joke because there was these people standing in line in front of us, and I seen them walk in, and 2 minutes later I seen them leave, and I'm like, I was making the joke like, you flew all the way out to E3 and like paid so much money for your hotel and everything, and you walk into E3, see 2 minutes of it, and you're like, okay, I'm good. That's enough.
Good E3, good conference. Good expo, guys.
Nice.
Turns out we did the same thing though.
Yeah, we did. There was nothing else to do though.
Yeah. I mean, someone we know went in and seen some cool stuff. Nintendo's booth was completely blocked off. Like no one, even the other exhibitors, the people behind the scenes, unless you are directly working with Nintendo, you have no idea what their booth is. Their booth is completely covered up. There's like a big white thing, but there are like red LEDs at the top, and Nintendo ninjas are knocking at the door. But yeah, they said that you could go and like you could see Kingdom Hearts stuff everywhere, you could see everything everywhere, but you could not see the Nintendo booth. It was the only one that was secure. So, and they even had 2 security guards at every entrance of the Nintendo booth.
No one.
So like
gonna see what's going on.
Yeah, so like you go, there's like the console hallway, and like you go to this side and it's PlayStation, you go to this side and it's Xbox, and at the very end of the hallway is Nintendo. Like PlayStation and Xbox was like you're free to look inside, but then Nintendo at the very end just has like a big white cover, like a screen or a blanket covering it up, and then there's just red LEDs at the top, which kind of matches with Nintendo's color.
Oh yeah, Nintendo, like the whole Switch thing, they've rebranded back to the red color scheme, so it makes sense.
And so after all of that, we came back here. We tried messaging a few people to see when they were getting in. Ashley and Gibbs didn't get here until we were already here. Nate is cooped up in his hotel.
I know him and Eric, the co-host for his podcast.
Yeah, his Daniel.
All day. Eric is his Daniel. Yes, for a while.
You were his Daniel for a while.
I was his. Oh no!
It was everyone's.
Well, no, I never was like a permanent co-host on his podcast, but I was a frequent guest, I would say.
Yeah.
Mostly when we did the Zelda Informer podcast, but
yeah. Probably a highlight in terms of comedic points was last night, which we're going to do again tonight, but we're going to be playing with you guys, so you can join along with us as long as you have a cell phone, maybe even a computer, or tablet can do it as well.
Anything.
As long as you can get on the internet.
Yeah.
We're going to be playing Jack in the Box.
Jackbox. So there's party games. We'll put our answers in. As the audience, you can vote on like.
Sorry, I just
what are different
remembered
things.
the best one from the show.
Oh my god!
yesterday.
You can see it on. Okay, go check out on Kayla's Twitter right now. We were just giving it a test run, playing around with the game yesterday, and one of the winning answers that came on is. It was like it's a game where you design a T-shirt and then you vote on which is the funniest one, and it was like naked man standing there, and the person is like with a sad face, and it says Bruce is on the loose. Oh, yeah, no. So we're gonna stream Jackbox, and you guys can join the audience and vote on all the answers and everything. It'll be
So
heckin' good time.
you just go to the website. Some of you can. I don't know if we're going to have it to where you play with us, but you'll be able to vote.
Yeah, at the very least, vote. I mean, it supports up to 8 people, so I think if we
Basically, once we tap out.
if we tap out,
Ashley and Gibbs and maybe
if we
other
have
people may.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens. If anything, you guys can watch and see what kind of hilarious, terrible things happen.
Yeah, but you will be able to play along and vote and stuff.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it'll be up to you on who wins, basically.
yeah, pretty much. You guys can vote on the best.
Yeah, and with like 20, 30 people playing along, it'll be a lot funner than like
Than just the 4 of us. Yeah.
5.
If we get a random report, we can blame Marvin.
Marvin.
Thanks.
Oh, it's Marvin. Because my phone was on, and I'm like, Marvin, no!
Wow.
How could you?
Thank you.
Roman, I think we don't really have a time set yet, because we're going to go out to a party.
A secret party.
Yeah, it'll probably
that
be
we
like-
already told you all the details for.
Yeah, honestly, it's probably going to be pretty late.
Yeah, it'll probably be like 11 p.m.
Yeah.
Which would be on the East Coast, 2 a.m. So it'll be kind of late.
Yeah.
And so we have alcohol, so it might be.
It might be more fun.
later.
We need to be up before 9 a.m. to see Nintendo. So
Yeah,
That's true.
Yeah,
We are a disaster.
we talked about everything that we did yesterday and today and flying here and everything. So, which mine was actually like a 2-day travel, or like 1 full day of travel. So that's,
Yeah.
but anyways,
Yeah.
tomorrow the E3 conference, we plan on streaming it. So you'll be able to watch us like live react. We have 2 webcams. It's going to be a different setup than this. We're probably going to have like 2 webcams facing 1 webcam facing like Rick and I, and then 2 facing Kayla and Daniel.
Canadian segregation.
Yeah,
over here.
depending on like where everyone wants to set and stuff, and then we'll have like we have 2 microphones, so we'll likely have like a microphone near each of us, and since they'll be further apart, or we will all be further apart,
Yeah.
there won't be as much echo. And we will be streaming live with the Nintendo conference, maybe an hour of the, when is it? Tomorrow, 9 a.m., 12 p.m.
Yes.
Eastern.
So Nintendo's having their is it a direct or just press conference?
It's a direct.
It's
Yeah.
Nintendo Direct at
Yeah.
9. So we'll be wanting to do we're gonna get up early, even though
that's just
we're gonna
Cliff.
party the night before. Just Cliff.
The Game Informer's Cliff.
That's Cliff.
Is it?
That's news to me.
I didn't know that.
I thought I just had 2 separate. I just thought you were 2 separate people.
Yeah, both.
So,
Yeah, so did I.
Whoops.
2 completely different awesome people, but now doubly awesome.
No, now that doesn't make Cliff doubly awesome.
Yeah.
Honestly.
So, with what was it? The conference tomorrow, we'll be doing the conference, which will likely be about an hour, maybe 45 minutes, maybe an hour and a half. Don't really know how long it is. It's not live, so it won't be as long as like PlayStation or EA or whatever. So it'll just be like trailer, presentation, like.
Just like any other direct, really.
Yeah.
And then the Nintendo Treehouse after that, we'll probably be
Yeah,
watching that for
we'll-
what?
Yeah, for a
an
little
hour?
bit.
Yeah, we'll probably do an hour
Yeah.
of that, and then we'll end it after an hour, hour and a half, because
Yeah.
that's when they show off. Like last year, they showed off the Metroid game after.
They didn't announce it, and then they just showed it off in the Nintendo.
Yeah, like the
Treehouse
first,
live
everyone
stream.
that tuned off within the first 5 minutes of the Treehouse. It's just like,
Yeah, and our fans know
That's
how much
amazing.
I loved. Yeah, it is. They know how much I loved Samus Returns. That,
Yeah.
that was some hella Metroid. So yes, we gotta watch the Treehouse stream as well, but not for too long because we do have to go and play Smash tomorrow.
Yeah.
So
we all have appointments to play Smash Brothers.
Except for me because I suck.
she didn't. Okay, Kayla did not sign up for some reason to go play Smash.
You guys sent me the link. You're like, Kayla, sign up to play
Sign up.
Smash, but no one told me which time slot you guys were signing up for, so I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah, I think we all just picked the first available time
Yeah.
slot. It's like, how soon can we play it?
Did you guys even communicate, or were you like, done?
No.
No, he
I
told me.
did.
Well, like, he
Way
picked
before
his.
anybody.
Yeah.
And then I did mine, and then Rick was like, I did mine at 2. And I was like, oh, I did mine at 2 as well.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, and then I looked at it today, and
Honestly,
It's
since like
all
all
up.
3 of us are going to be going at the same time, like you'll probably just get grouped in with us,
Yeah.
whether or not you have an appointment.
maybe.
Maybe we'll see. We'll
Yeah,
try.
because I think they give you like 30 or 45 minutes to play, so I could just, or someone
Yeah,
could
we
step
could just sub
aside
out,
after
so
like
you
10
can-
minutes.
Yeah.
Maybe. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see what
Can you
they say.
imagine though? We go there as a group, 3 of us are registered, right? And then we try and hand off, and the rep is like, "Not you! You did not register."
Yeah.
Yeah, they were trying to cut down on lines this year because of things like Breath of the Wild. People were sprinting for the Breath of the Wild booths when that was playable. So
Yeah, now
they're trying to avoid that this year with the set appointments and everything.
Yeah, but there's no appointments for like Pokemon Let's Go Eevee.
That's true. Yeah, there's supposed to be. I'm really banking on my prediction from last week being right.
What was it?
That they'll have the playable demos of Pokemon Let's Go.
Ooh.
Oh
think-
yeah, they'll
yeah.
just have like the random
Like just
kiosks.
little kiosks with the playable demos.
Yeah.
Because I really want to give it a try. It seems really fun.
Alien
I want Animal
Crossing.
Crossing.
Definitely beat
Yes.
the Treehouse for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure they'll cover it.
Yeah.
They did Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire and covered that really heavily. So,
Yeah. So, is that everything for tomorrow? Yeah.
no, wait, it was
we're
Sun and
tomorrow.
Moon. Sorry.
We're basically
Sun and Moon. Yeah, that
Yeah,
was
Sun and Moon.
was pretty much their whole thing.
we're
Yeah, that was what the
Animal
year Breath
Crossing
of the
on
Wild
here?
2016, right?
Is Animal Crossing on here?
No.
I don't know. I don't
If
think
it was,
is.
that would be a
That would be a
dead
good giveaway. But it's weird that ARMS is on here because ARMS is
Probably didn't sell that much, so they want to promote
They're
it.
trying to just
Yeah, honestly, I feel like everyone was really like, yeah, ARMS is so good, and the ones that started playing it, they're like, wow, this is good for
That's-
a little bit.
Well, that's the thing with ARMS is like I really enjoyed it for the first few days,
Yeah, and it's like,
but it got pretty old real fast.
yeah,
So
Not very good if you're playing by yourself.
yeah.
or if the only person you have to play with is a 5-year-old,
Yeah.
that's me. So
But yeah, so that's everything we did before. I think that's everything we did. We're going to do tomorrow. We're just kind of whatever we can get invited to, essentially.
yeah.
Um,
I'd say there's a few communication things that have been really funny though. Whenever we're talking about like going somewhere, so I was like, yeah, it's like 3 miles, and Kayla and I are like, yes, that is a distance. We know what that means. So
everybody.
we're like, it's 29 degrees out, and they're like, it's not snow.
Yeah. So Sparkling, Cyanide, Chrissy, Ilya, everyone who has questions, put your
Yes.
questions in. We will answer them. And before we get there, yeah. So we went over everything we're supposed to be doing that we did do yesterday. Like we didn't even know about the party that was going on tonight until yesterday.
That's true.
So who knows what we may get invited to tomorrow, like when we're actually meeting people in person, or who we're going to be hanging out with. Because even the dinner with Holly was
Yeah, that was very spur of the moment.
Yeah, like
she
we
just messaged us like,
we just
amazing.
happened to be there, and she messaged like, hey, let's go get food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I have
And-
to say, like, since like being here and meeting all of these people from the internet, it hasn't been weird.
No, I totally expected it to.
However, now that I say that, Gibbs, if you're still watching, please don't make it weird.
Don't make me weird. But even meeting Holly, like it was I was kind of expecting there to be like a
Hearing her rich girl stories.
Yeah, but
Yeah, no, Holly was really cool to hang out with. There wasn't like any weird barrier. I didn't know.
Although she did say, let's go to this place. It's not too expensive. It's kind of cheap. And then we get there and it's like the most expensive dinner we've had so far.
So far, well, we've had one dinner so far.
Yeah.
Oh, well, not dinner, but like
food-wise.
It's like, it's not that expensive and it's like the most expensive.
It's like general for.
But
here.
no, it was a fun dinner.
Pretty expensive to eat out.
I'm glad that we went. It was really cool, like actually catching up with her. I realized that my shortness, it's her too, so I'm not the only really short person.
We have the dinner planned Tuesday. So tomorrow? Where's that?
I thought that was Thursday.
Thursday. In a couple days.
Thursday, there's going to be like 20 of us. We're going to try to at least get a few pics of like everyone sitting at the table. And then everyone like in a big group outside. We had some with Holly yesterday, so you can go and see pictures on any of our Instagrams or Twitters. See pictures of the 5 of us. There's some cool pictures of Daniel, Kayla, and Holly at the dinner as well.
It's the most active my Twitter has been ever.
Yeah, I know.
This week has been like...
Anytime I do something with Daniel, Daniel's like, it's time for a selfie.
We're like, we're getting on the plane, selfie time. We just got off the plane.
Kayla, make a fierce face for a selfie.
Yeah, that's her dangerous face it's not dangerous. So.
Alright, so we're gonna do 5 questions to make it quick.
Should we grab something?
Not a question, but Chrissy G says, I want Ocarina of Time. I am very much expecting. Maybe not Ocarina of Time, but something Zelda related. Either a remake or a new 2D game.
Oh,
really, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
Yeah. So
Ilya, I saw that you asked earlier. It is a grapevine Moscato.
Yes, so we did. We also, I should reveal, this Blue Moon as well.
Blue Moon.
I realized I have 3 cups here. Blue Moon. It's made by our same company that makes our microphone. I realized I must look like the biggest white trash. Like I'm triple fisting a beer, a white wine, and a glass of water. Tell us, Jesse, what kind of wine is that you're drinking?
I don't know what this is.
What you got there?
This is Gatorade, which tastes just like Kool-Aid. Apparently, it's Kool-Aid with vitamins.
It's electrolytes. Moscato, yes, thank you, Ilya.
Sparkling cyanide. I am 5'7".
Does that count as a question?
That is a question. He wants to know.
Wait, all of us?
Yeah.
How tall are all of you? So I'm 5'10".
Alright, how old?
Well.
I'm 6'4".
6'4".
Oh
I'm
my
6'1".
gosh.
Yeah. So I'm telling you, like I'm less than 6 feet tall, right? Like I've always been the short one among my friends as well. Like generally, any of my male friends are always taller than me. But just like walking into this house and all excited, and then these two like just stand up from the couches. I'm like, oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no.
So we'll group this in because that was a short question. He also asks, where in the timeline does Prime 4 take place? I don't think I've heard about it. Now you have to remember, it's not people when they think of the Metroid Prime series, they think of Metroid Prime 1, 2, and 3.
And not Hunters.
Yeah, Metroid Prime Hunters for the DS and Metroid Prime Pinball.
Pinball?
Is that canon?
It tells a story.
It's the same story as Prime 1, isn't
Is
it?
it?
It's just like Prime 1, but like pinball instead of a real game. So, but
You just pinball your way
it's
through
just
the
you
story.
pinball your way.
You think 5'10" is short, dude? I'd look like a hobbit next to you.
Oh.
No,
I think CC's like 4'10".
Yeah, CC's 4'10".
Oh my god, really? Doesn't that like legally make her a dwarf or something? I'm sorry, but we love you, CC.
No, I think it's a few inches shorter than that.
Okay, a little bit.
Tim says can confirm same as Prime 1.
Same, but okay, thank you.
So
Tim,
where's Prime Hunters?
So Prime Hunters, I think it's between 1 and 2. Or, I don't know for sure though.
And Federation Force?
I don't know.
So I was reading online, someone was like giving a bunch of reasons why they think Metroid Prime 4 would take place directly after Federation Force. But I always like when I see people talking about the story of Federation Force, it just kind of glazes over.
Yeah.
But there's like the villain from Prime Hunters. What's his name? Silex?
I don't know.
Oh, he's one of the villains in there.
When I think of the story of Federation Force,
yeah, right.
I just like take a step back and I'm like, yeah, that happened, didn't it?
It did happen.
Yeah, like they seen dogs. they know what dogs are.
Oh my god. This horrible painting here. Caleb posted a picture of it on Twitter. Go look it up.
It's on Twitter.
This horrible painting of
Probably
12 dogs. And
Something has happened.
we're frozen. Oh no. We're
Whether
just
it's
lagging.
streaming or not, it's
Okay.
But we got this horrible painting of 12 dogs. Okay? And they're not good paintings of dogs. They're just we keep joking that the guy that painted this, he knows about dogs. He knows he's seen dogs, but he's not super familiar with dogs. So,
My favorite, there's like a dog there and it's got like the Squidward nose from when you make your me. It's
yeah.
great.
Oh my god. No, it's just there's like a dog that looks like it's gonna cry. It's like a crying Dalmatian. It's just upsetting to look at. It's right there.
Ilya, you like even on the episode you were on the podcast, you asked a question. You have not asked a question yet.
Well, the only question she's asked is what we're drinking.
Oh, I guess
so. She did ask that. That's a question.
Sparkling asked. Never thought. Scroll up, see if we can get some more.
We did have some.
Remember, questions, people.
questions.
We need questions. Four more.
Oh, Sparkling Sign says Blue Moon is quality. Yes, it is. I really enjoy Blue Moon and Cronenberg are my two go-to.
My brother bought Blue Moon for his wedding last weekend.
Yes.
I only drink cheap white wine.
That's upsetting. Okay, King Namor 777. Oh wait, this is the second half of a question. I have to find the first half of his question. There should be a Zelda game about the Hero Shade, and would any of you guys play it?
It's called Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask.
Yeah, I think he means a third.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like
Most definitely.
after
We
this
totally
skeleton?
played, of
Well,
course.
what's the second one? Or maybe a Zelda game,
I guess Breath of the Wild.
but 10,000 years ago when the Sheikah technology was being created to stop. Yeah, so
I
that would be
think that
cool.
would be really
Yeah.
To like play in the war where the hero had to go up and like I guess
like before they like seal away
Yeah.
in time. That
Yeah.
would have been
Yeah.
so has that happened before? What they did to Ganondorf or Ganon in the backstory of Breath of the Wild where they sealed him like in the castle?
Yeah.
Like Ocarina of Time he was sealed in the Sacred
Yeah.
Realm. Twilight Princess sealed in the Twilight Realm. But then he just dies at the end. Does he get sealed at the end, or did he actually die?
He just dies, and that's why he's reincarnated.
Wind Waker.
Four Swords Adventure.
Yeah, Four Swords Adventures.
Wind Waker has him
Dead.
stabbed
Probably the
through
most
skull.
dead in Wind Waker.
Fun fact,
Even-
Ganondorf is only reincarnated that one time, too, in Four Swords. That's the only time.
true. Yeah,
Every
it's-
other one is the same
So,
guy.
I'd say the most dead he is in Wind Waker when he's stabbed through the
Yeah,
head
because
and turns to stone.
he turns into a stone, but even
Yeah.
if he wasn't a stone, that's the
Stabs
same
his-
way that Link kills him in Ocarina of Time.
Yeah,
Or
stabbed.
kills Ganon.
Kills
And then
Ganon.
he changes back to Ganondorf.
And then I'd say the other most dead he's been is in Zelda 1 when he literally turns into like a pile of like
Ash.
mush and guts and
Yeah.
gross and ash.
Yeah.
Like just a pile of grossness, and then the Triforce is like in the middle of it.
Oh my gosh, look
So-
at Ilya's comment about the cockroach. Yeah,
I saw a tweet. Oh
I
yes.
saw my first cockroach yesterday. I have never seen them in Vancouver. I know that people complain about having them occasionally,
Yeah.
but it's not really a normal thing. And so we met our first cockroach yesterday in the bathroom.
Saw the second one today. I named him Roger. He just took he was in the bathtub, so he was just hanging out. Wasn't doing any harm.
He was
But then he went missing. I went to show everyone else, and then he was gone.
Yeah, I was
so I'm kind of worried.
I was taking a Snapchat tour of the Airbnb, and then I was like, wait, I was gonna introduce Snapchat to Roger, but Roger's not.
Roger's gone, guys, and I'm concerned. But well, that's the thing. No, the first one went missing too, and that was the bigger one.
Yeah.
We'll call him
Okay.
Steve. Steve and Steve Rogers. Oh, I didn't even mean to. But Steve went missing as well. Because we found him, and then we all got a little grossed out. So I went to grab my shoe to kill him.
Yeah.
Just gonna put that out there. I was going to murder him, but he went missing. So far, they've only been in the washroom.
Roman asks, what new characters do you want to see in Smash?
Well, we know the Inklings are going to be in there, so I think they'll be really interesting, because I think you have to base it off a character, not unlike Mega Man, where like their main attacks are going to be not melee attacks, but their base attacks are going to be
like shooting the
shooting. Yeah. So I think that'll be really interesting.
Maybe their ultimate would be like the tornado thing, where it just like the tornado shoots across the screen. And kills everyone.
Like any of the power-up moves in Splatoon would be good final smashes, really. Like pretty much any of them would work. But I think like even just their ability to turn into a squid would be interesting in Smash. Like
would
I can
the
imagine
double
their roll
jump
dodge being.
Yeah.
So would the double jump be like whenever they like? So at the beginning of the game, like there's the launch pad that shoots you up.
Yeah.
So if you double jump, would it mimic how?
Oh, yeah,
it
maybe.
Like the super jump.
I was also wondering, like, I wonder which weapon they would default to, because they probably wouldn't switch, but I think one of them might be like the special ability, or they would actually use their powers from the game.
So my guess is like probably your base weapon would be just like a splatter shot. And
Oh, I
then
hope not.
As like just like it's a basic weapon that is like kind of iconic to the series, right? The series, I say it's 2 games. And then like using probably like a charge shot with the charger weapon, and then like a roller as a melee weapon.
So probably a little bit of everything. That'd be cool.
Yeah, that would be kind of a neat move set. I think they just because of how much variety there is with the weapons in Splatoon, I think they could build a really interesting fighter out of that. But just switching between all the different weapons.
To everyone asking in the chat, it is us that is lagging, but we're still recording, so we just carry on.
We are
we'll upload it again later.
Very laggy right now.
Yeah, this will be up on iTunes tomorrow.
Yes.
I'd really like to see them, since Breath of the Wild Link is going to be in Smash, also updating Zelda and Ganondorf, maybe Toon Link and Toon Zelda, instead of having an extra skin for Link, basically, adding in the 4 champions instead. Because Zelda really doesn't have that role in this game, other than her sacred powers. So having those 3 to replace, those 3.
Well,
the 3.
They've been giving everything the Breath of the Wild update. Like with,
but I feel like Ganondorf from TP would feel a little out of place.
Definitely out of place
with Breath of the Wild.
Unless it would be
same
cool
with Zelda.
if they gave him like a new character design based off of what could have been concept art for Ganondorf in Breath of the Wild.
Oh yeah, give him some like Sheik attack kind of attacks and everything. It's what do you want to see in Smash? And I just listed a character we already know is in there. So
and
nice.
Good job.
You got this.
So what all game? There's Hyrule Warriors got the Breath of the Wild update. There was what was the Sega game? The Sega
All-Star Racing?
No.
What? Sonic?
The online the online Sega game.
Phantasy Star?
Yeah, Phantasy Star Online had Breath of the Wild. I guess it's DLC, where like you could play as, you could dress up as Link or like a female Link. And then there was another.
And Rick said Skyrim as well.
Oh yeah, Skyrim had the Breath of the Wild treatment. So there's a lot of games, probably a lot more to come, that will get a Breath of the Wild treatment. So it would make sense for like all of the characters, since like third-party games are giving Breath of the Wild looks. It would make sense for them to just update their own game to Breath of the Wild. But other than that, everybody's excited for like Banjo-Kazooie, but then Ubisoft has done a lot with Nintendo recently, so I imagine there'll be at least one Ubisoft character in there.
Yeah, just please don't make it a rabbit.
That
would not be a good playable character.
Like
they probably will though, now that you mention it.
No! What have I done?
What are the bad
I want the Ice Climbers back.
Yeah.
Yes. Although Ice Climbers and 8-player Smash just sounds messy. But 16
They're
characters.
so cheap. They'll have to rework them.
True.
Maybe multiple characters from the Metroid universe?
Yeah, like the only Metroid character right now is Samus, but who else would they put in?
Didn't Brawl have like the boss from Metroid?
Yeah, Ridley was in it, and then he was also in one of the stages in Smash 4.
Yeah.
The what's it called? Pyrosphere stage. But honestly, that was the worst part about that stage, because he'd just come in and just disrupt the battle. We'd be like kicking each other's butts, and he'd just walk in and he's like, "Hey everybody, I'm here to smash!" Ruin everything.
So here's a prediction. Eevee. Like they've always had like Pikachu.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
As far
yeah.
as like, because they always put a new Pokemon character.
Eevee-licious.
Eevee's a big thing
So
right now.
like Pikachu, Jigglypuff, whoever else they've had.
They've had Mewtwo,
Yeah,
Lucario.
Mewtwo, Lucario. So yeah, if they added Eevee and then the final Smash for Eevee, it could be like a mystery.
Yeah.
To where like each time you get it, it evolves into Flareon, Vaporeon, whoever, and does like the same type of attack. So like it's like a giant water cannon, or it's like a
but
fire.
It's like randomized.
Yeah, or it's like a flamethrower. So the trajectory path is the same every single time. It's just it's blue if it's Vaporeon, it's yellow if it's Jolteon, it's red if it's Flareon, it's whatever if it's
So I was thinking
yeah,
like all the evolutions at the same time could.
Oh, just jump
pop
in
out
Mega Man
of nowhere.
style.
Yeah.
Mega Man's final smash.
Exactly.
I
We
think-
messed up Sparkling Cyanide because you guys made it sound like Banjo Kazooie is confirmed, but
he's
that's
not. We just want him to be.
because we had that big conversation about like third-party characters that we would want, and Banjo was like way up there.
Yeah.
I really want Shovel Knight in
Yeah.
Smash, honestly, because like Nintendo's been really good
There
with
is
their
the indie
indie representation, the Nindies and everything, and Shovel Knight's kind of right now the face of indie gaming, you know. So I think it would be really cool to see him as like kind of the indie rep in Smash, and pretty much his moveset like is just you just take his moveset out of Shovel Knight,
Yeah.
and he's pretty much got a Smash moveset.
They already have the amiibo too.
They do have the amiibo and everything, and
They're set.
yeah, so that would be freaking wicked. But
Alright, 2 more questions. One is from Isaac Slipe. What's it say? What? Isaac.
Oh, Isaac's site, yeah.
Okay. Would you guys be interested in seeing Termina with Breath of the Wild's graphic engine? So the thing is,
yes, that was very much.
Except Jesse's coming in to ruin our lives.
no. I'm saying that
No,
like
this has been Jesse's like.
a lot of people think that like if one game is made in an engine, then every game made in that engine will look exactly the same. So the most important part of Breath of the Wild's engine is
Probably the physics.
yeah,
like
I forgot what it was called, but the physics engine, which isn't created by Nintendo, it's created by a third party, and that physics engine is used in like Batman, Arkham Knight, and like a bunch of other games. I forgot what it's called. You guys can look it up though. Just like type in Google and then Breath of the Wild physics engine, and it'll tell you what it is. I think it starts with an R, but Nintendo just licensed that engine, and they had to work with that company to get the engine as perfect as it is. Like there's interesting interviews where Aonuma says that one day they would come in and like something really heavy in the world of Breath of the Wild, like if the wind's blowing, an apple's supposed to like roll down, but there would be really heavy stuff, and the wind, like a breeze would come, and there was something really heavy would just shoot off as if it was hit like stasis, and then you just like hit it with the sword a bunch of times.
yeah.
So like a log, which is supposed to roll or move with the wind, would just like shoot off when the wind blew.
Yeah.
So then they'd have to like go back and adjust something, but then they would make it things too heavy, and then like now the apples would act as if they were as heavy as like a giant boulder. So they had to do a lot of stuff to get everything perfect. But that's like the main important thing that they're doing with that engine. The art style itself, like if you look at Unreal Engine, there are games that look like cartoons. There are games that look super realistic. There are racing games. There are 2D fighting games. There are sprite-based games. So you can take an engine and make a game look however you want it. The engine itself doesn't designate the art style. It's just how you make it. Like
3D
think of
models
it,
are completely separate.
yeah, think of it literally. Okay, so one example: 99% of the fan-made Ocarina of Time projects or Majora's Mask projects you see
Unreal
are made
4.
with Unreal Engine, but the character models are taken from Hyrule Warriors. So even though Hyrule Warriors is a completely different engine, they just like put it in Unreal Engine, and now it looks better because Unreal Engine has like different lighting. It's not limited by what the Wii U can do.
Or like all the Breath of the Wild mods that you guys see. I actually have a few videos up on my channel, but where you can like play as Batman or
Goku.
Goku, or play as Zelda even. I know Commonwealth Realm has been covering that on his channel and everything. Those are all just, except for the Zelda one, majority of them are just 3D models from other games that people have tweaked. They put in a lot of hard work to get those things to work though, so.
Yeah.
Probably we covered this a long time ago too, but the funniest one, I always I love it, is where there was a mod and then you were playing as Goku, Link's shield was SpongeBob, and then like the Hinoxes were replaced by Shrek.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I saw that!
Your horse was like Thomas the Tank Engine. It was like the most ridiculous mod I've ever seen. I love it so much.
Yeah, but just with Majora's Mask, I think that would be really cool. Like a return to Termina.
Yeah. But I mean, like, because they've got pretty much, you know, if they
10,000 years.
Like the art direction I love in Breath of the Wild. I think it's a gorgeous game.
Yeah, they said it was inspired by like Studio Ghibli.
Yeah, oh, absolutely, I can see that. Even just in like the original trailer, like very Studio Ghibli, very shades of Princess Mononoke. But yeah, like the art direction of Breath of the Wild, the physics, like all of it. If they just stuck with that and then did a Majora's Mask sort of sequel, but maybe 10,000 years later on that scope.
Ooh, no, honestly, Breath of the Wild in 1 year, in less than 1 year, sold more copies than any other Zelda game has ever sold throughout its entire lifetime. So Twilight Princess was the other bestseller.
And Twilight Princess was released on 3 consoles consecutively.
Yeah.
Like GameCube, Wii U, like just
so the Breath of the Wild in 1 year sold more than Twilight Princess ever did on multiple consoles. And that's just the Switch version. Like the Wii U version also adds in like another 1 million.
Yeah.
So for them to look at that and be like, it's sold so many copies and not put out another DLC, especially after like almost anyone who bought Breath of the Wild, like I cannot name a single person who bought Breath of the Wild that did not get the DLC.
In the chat, Sparkling Silence says the art style is good, but I wish they'd go back to a modern version of Twilight Princess art style. I really like Twilight Princess, but I think that like this is just a personal opinion, but my issue with the art style in Twilight Princess is that like when it was released, it looked really good, but it looked very outdated very fast.
Yeah, it does not
Wind Waker,
hold up like Wind Waker or like Breath of the Wild will when they up-res that game. If Nintendo ever comes out with a 4K console.
However, that being said, I remember when Twilight Princess came out, I was like, whoa, like this is such a cool style. And then when Skyward Sword came out, I was a little bit disappointed because I felt like we were getting to a really interesting point with the way that Link was looking. And then he like reverted back to this weird kind of like more cartoony looking style. But you know what, like I like that, and if they get more real with Link, I'd be really uncomfortable. I like the cartoony style.
So the way that I look at the art styles is like Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask looked like a manga. Like they based how Link looks specifically off of the artwork. When the artwork makes it look like it's ripped from a manga. Actually, if you look at the manga version of Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, it looks the same. Whereas like Twilight Princess manga looks more like a manga. How do you guys say it? Manga?
Honestly, they say however. I say manga because I'm super white, apparently.
You're the least white person at this table right now.
So the way that I look at it is like every Zelda game has had a different art style, and I have no idea where they're going to go again because the first, with 3D Zelda at least, they had the manga art style with the Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, cartoon with Wind Waker, realistic with Twilight Princess, a painting inspired with Skyward Sword, and then anime inspired by Breath of the Wild. So like that's every art style you could do, like manga, anime, realistic,
cartoon. It was like a specific type of painting too, like impressionist painting too. And they had like a filter, so if you got too far away from things, the filter would come on and look more. Yeah,
because the Wii was at that time was going up against like the PS3 and Xbox 360, which were in HD and had a lot further of a draw distance. So instead of like you flying away from an island and then disappearing, or like a house disappearing as you got further away, the background itself was replaced, and like it would stop rendering everything after a certain distance, and instead of completely having things disappear, like when you're playing Grand Theft Auto Vice City on PlayStation 2, like you'll be 10 feet away when you're driving, and there'll just be like houses and signs pop up out of nowhere.
Yeah.
They didn't want that in Skyward Sword because a big part of the game is flying to different areas. And the game, they wanted it to look like a painting, so they had it so that everything blended in together as if it was painted with a paintbrush in the background.
Yeah. Actually, a really cool video. We all probably know the channel Boundary Break, or She Says. And he did an episode with Skyward Sword, and he was able to go into it and like remove the filtering just to do those great zoom out shots that he does. And it's really interesting to see like sort of all that behind the scenes of how the game is built. And all the layers that Nintendo puts on, like just to give it that polish. I would just say that he probably covers it better than we.
They add a lot of stuff you wouldn't even believe. Like they go farther than they need to sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So just it's really neat to see him dissect those and go through it. It's I would recommend 10 out of 10.
All right. So you guys get our last question.
Okay. Let's see.
I'll let Daniel pick. I don't think Daniel's picked one yet.
I don't know.
I just shouted out that earlier.
Well, we got two here.
You kind of answered the Zelda Breath of the Wild.
Yeah. So Roman in the chat says, would you want a new 2D Zelda next, like a Link Between Worlds, or another 3D Zelda? Both. I want a new 3DS 2D Zelda, and on Switch a new 3D Zelda.
Why not a Switch 2D Zelda?
I don't know. I think Nintendo, for some reason, is still going to continue trying to support the 3DS. And if they are going to do that, they might as well give us a nice new Zelda title there in the same vein as A Link Between Worlds. But if they could go back to sort of like in the same style where A Link Between Worlds revisits A Link to the Past version of Hyrule, if they wanted to go back and revisit something like Link's Awakening or one of the Oracle games, like one of those maps.
Oracle would be great,
but with that update.
You
would get to, that would be wicked.
Good marketing.
Yeah, I would love that.
They do it every year with Pokemon. They've been doing it with Fire Emblem.
Yep.
Yeah, and if they do that,
the Fire Emblem got 3.
Oh, it did.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. It usually does. Fire Emblem Fates.
Like red, blue, yellow.
I will be honest and say that I'd rather see a 3D one because I haven't played a lot of the 2D Zelda games.
Okay, so here's the thing. A new 3D Zelda game is probably at least 2 years out.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That means I need to get caught up in my
So a
2D
3D
Zelda.
remake
that
could be
awesome.
potentially coming, like Skyward Sword or like Ocarina of Time. It's the 20th anniversary for Ocarina of Time.
HD.
Yeah, so realistically, we could see Ocarina of Time HD or Ocarina of Time, or Skyward Sword HD or Ocarina of Time HD. Skyward Sword is the only 3D Zelda game that has not been remade.
Yeah.
Actually, it's the only home console Zelda game that is yet to be remade.
Yeah.
A Link Between Worlds. Well, like Zelda 1, actually, they said Breath of the Wild was heavily inspired by it, like the world of Breath of the Wild. So it wasn't necessarily remade, but I, in a way, kind of count that, because if you were to remake Zelda 1 into a 3D game, you would have to add a lot of stuff that wasn't there. Otherwise, it would just be completely empty. So Zelda 1 gets Breath of the Wild. A Link to the Past gets A Link Between Worlds, because that's like half remake, half of a new game. I look at it as a reimagining instead of a remake. And then Ocarina of Time got Ocarina of Time 3D, Majora's Mask got Majora's Mask 3D, Wind Waker got Wind Waker HD, Twilight Princess got Twilight Princess HD. The only one that hasn't had anything aside from Zelda 2, which Nintendo has never went back to the 2D style. So I don't think we'll ever get that. But Skyward Sword is the only one that hasn't. But I think they might wait for like the 10th anniversary for that to happen. So Ocarina of Time.
2021.
Yeah,
been saying it all along.
Yeah, so like Ocarina of Time HD is likely because it's the 20th anniversary. So would you guys rather see Ocarina of Time HD or a new 2D Zelda game, whether it's a reimagining like A Link Between Worlds, but for Link's Awakening, or what was it, The Legend of Zelda Bridge?
A Link Between Islands?
Yeah, because the rumor was it was called A Link Between Islands, or A Link Between Lands, and I was just like, that's called a bridge. A Link Between Islands, that's what a bridge is.
You know, thinking about like the different like A Link Between Worlds being a reimagining and then all these remakes. With Breath of the Wild, there was a lot of inspiration from Zelda 1, but there was a lot of amalgamation of maps from Ocarina of Time, Twilight Princess, Skyward Sword, like
Every
elements
game.
from all these games pulled in. Even I would say even Link to the Past and Zelda 1. Just all these little bits from each Zelda game pulled into Breath of the Wild's map, which I love because it pulls everything together really nicely. So I think, in a sense, you know, like this is the most full version of Hyrule we've seen. So we almost don't need to go back to some of these other maps we've seen before.
Another interesting thing, don't mean to cut you off, but the last thing that I want to say is Termina is the only, like Majora's Mask. And I mentioned this in one of my scripted videos, I forgot what it was, but Majora's Mask is the only time that a 3D Zelda game has ventured outside of Hyrule. So every other Zelda game has been Hyrule that was 3D. Majora's Mask is the only one where we went to a different place, and we've never revisited.
Unless you count the DS games. So
yeah, but the
right.
like 2.5D.
Yeah.
But with Majora's Mask, it was the only one that's like that. And then even with those lands, there's never been a second adventure to a different land, like Labrina, Koholint Island, Termina. We've never went back there. It's always been Hyrule or something completely new. So that means it's kind of less likely to get a return to Termina, but that would be really cool if we did.
I personally would rather see them, even though I know they're not going to do this, it would be way easier for Nintendo. Like Grand Theft Auto, they don't release Grand Theft Auto games all the time because the one does it and covers it for many, many years. Like Grand Theft Auto 5 has been out for a long time.
Yeah.
And it's such a huge world, they can continue to add to it and continue to, you know, change the world, do different stories, do DLC. I think that's something that they should have done with this game because we wait so long to get a new Zelda game. And this one, like, I love Breath of the Wild to death, but it's been a year and it doesn't have that full Zelda feeling to me. That's just at least me. I love the game. It was really fun, but the fact that we didn't get to play 10,000 Years Prior, we got teased with it, and then they were like, oh yeah, by the way, we're not going to continue making DLC for it. Yeah, even the 100 Years Prior. Playing in the 10,000 Years Prior, I think would have been a really good way to get like DLC that's not directly connected to the main story. But and still get like a different story out of it. Like they told us with the DLC that it was going to be this huge original story, and it felt lackluster to me. It really did.
The interesting thing between the 100 years, if you look at the past memories, like there's one where you have to find like a big tree and a small tree beside each other in a memory. And I was like, okay, well this was 100 years ago, so it's going to be a big tree and a really big tree. Because it's been 100 years, they've been growing for 100 years.
Right.
So like I seen a little tree and a big tree, and I was like, that can't be it. Like it would be taller. It's been 100 years, but like there wasn't any signs of it actually being 100 years throughout the game.
Yeah, because you would you would think the trees would grow, but it's still same size after 100 years. So I don't know if Hyrule, if the world works a little differently than the real world.
Nintendo seems to have an issue with managing time in those games.
How does it work in Animal Crossing? Like you plant something, and then a while later it's there.
It takes 3 days.
3 days?
It's like in Skyward Sword, how the time travel is linear. You go and plant the seed. You go through the gate of time and plant the seed, and then you come back and it's huge. But then when Link goes and he wishes for Demise to be destroyed, he destroys him, then goes back in time, destroys the past Demise, comes back through the gate, and the same events still take place. It's too conflicting. Like they have a really hard time with keeping track of.
And then
that's what my whole Dragon Break theory, which our audience is probably tired of me talking about.
I was talking with one of my buddies about that, and that could be a viable place for them to.
Oh, absolutely. But like we've seen it, we've gone over it in depth many times. Majora's Mask is like 100% a Dragon Break, the ending, and I think Skyward Sword is as well, because you have these two events that happen, and somehow Demise died twice, and they both happened, and it makes no sense unless there's that Dragon Break. So it's
technically in Hyrule Historia it says that he like transcends time itself, but You can't.
But
There's
if
no
you're
way.
going into the real world, then
Like, I see him transcending time, and what they mean by that is his curse that he plays. So
Sure.
his hatred lives forever. But I don't know.
Yeah.
So, is that the end of the podcast, or is there one more?
I don't know.
I think that's everything.
Yeah, we're like in person. We have the shortest podcast we've ever probably ever had since like the first one.
And even then, it's still longer than I thought it was going to be.
It's an hour and a half that we've been
Yeah.
going,
Hour and a half.
including our tests setting up.
So you can download this on iTunes. We'll be busy today, but tonight, after we get everything done, I'll put it on iTunes. So if you missed out on some of it, you can go there. iTunes, just type in Hylian Gamescast or GameOverJesse. It'll come up. You can download it. On patreon.com, you can download it a little bit sooner because it posts there immediately, but then it takes like 6 hours before iTunes will accept it. And the video, sometime, if we ever get free time, will be edited and uploaded. So it'll look a bit nicer, it'll sound a bit better, and yeah, it'll have, I guess, on the bottom at the table, we'll have everyone's at whatever.
Yes.
So yeah.
Yes. Oh, and Roman here is asking about Jackbox later.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
yes.
it'll be on like
We'll post
Twitter,
it.
Discord, like
Yeah.
We'll post it. We're gonna have a really fun time. I think that'll be fun because we got
Yeah.
kind of official stuff with this podcast, and we'll just basically just be hanging out and just having fun with
Yeah.
you guys. So
And also,
I'm looking
Teddy,
forward
like,
to that.
really good point. This is a really good time to wrap up the podcast because PlayStation is about to start and everyone's going to want to
Yes.
swap over. Like, we're kind of
yeah,
like that little
definitely.
intermission, right?
True. Plus, it's a great time to wrap up because I just drank this glass of water, this glass of wine, and this beer, and I really have to pee. So.
I am GameOverJesse at GameOverJesse, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, whatever social media you have. Just look up GameOverJesse. Rick.
Yeah, I'm RMFH, or you can look me up there on YouTube, or at RMFH Gaming on Twitter and Instagram. You guys can follow me for my little E3 trip updates and stuff like that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I want to add in. I've been recording video and taking pictures and everything. After E3 is over, I'm going to put together a huge vlog. So you'll see my trip from me leaving until arriving and then leaving. So everything in between, like pictures with Holly or whoever else we end up taking pictures with, everything will be included at the middle. I'll try to like do everything in order. So like if I made a video at 12 p.m. and then at 2 p.m. I took a picture, but then that night I made another video. Then after one vlog, because it'll all be like compiled into one long video. So after one vlog, you might see a picture for like 5 or 10 seconds, and then the next vlog will start. So you'll see the full timeline of everything that took place in the order that it took place. So everything will be well documented, hopefully.
I'll probably be doing the same thing.
I suck at vlogging, so you'll
Ditto.
see me that way.
Ditto, we're honest. Yeah.
How do I hold a phone in
But
front
they
of my
did
face
take
and take-
pictures.
We have taken pictures.
Yeah,
so
we take pictures,
I
but
may include
videos are
them as well.
hard.
Yes, which is a great segue. On Twitter, you can follow me at CaptFerguson. Same with Instagram.
To see
That's
those
where,
pictures.
yeah, to see those pictures because this is the most active my Twitter's been on this trip. So we're posting a lot of updates about how this trip is going. But yes, follow me on Twitter and Instagram at CaptFerguson. You can also find me on our Discord server, or Jesse's Discord server, I should say. I'm King Bergerson in there. I also have my own YouTube channel at NSHG Films, NSHG, I should enunciate better films, and I have a website called BergersonMedia.com where I post all of the things that I ever work on ever.
And Kayla. Wow, I'm so just True Blima. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram. I exist on the podcast, and that's basically it.
Exist.
You exist here. You have joined the plane of existence.
But definitely, like, we're super active on Twitter right now. Rick has been really generous in letting us use his hotspot, so...
Yes, we have no data here because we're in a different country.
Yeah, we don't want to use our phones here, so yeah, like, make sure you follow us on Twitter, and if you guys are around, like, make sure you let us know, because we want to meet all of you if you're here.
Yeah.
Yes, if
Yeah,
you're in LA,
definitely.
like,
If you
tag
guys are
us on
here.
Twitter, tweet at us.
I brought my selfie stick, so if you guys want to take a selfie and I don't want to touch you for whatever reason, we're good.
Perfect. Yeah, and then I guess other than that, join us later for some fun games that we'll be playing. Jackbox in particular.
Yeah.
We might do other ones too. We'll see. Great. All right. Perfect.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Hey everyone, it's me again, Elia Rose. I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching this video. And you know what? If you're a fan of videos like this, you should totally subscribe and give this video a like and comment below to let us know what type of videos you would like to see us create in the future. And if you would really like to support all of us here at the GameOverJesse channel, please consider purchasing a GameOverJesse t-shirt or becoming a Patreon at patreon.com/GameOverJesse, where you can receive many rewards, such as getting shoutouts, having any topic or theory that you select discussed on the podcast or made into its own video, having your question answered, joining on as a guest on the podcast, and playing with us during our Twitch live streams at twitch.tv/GameOverJesse, and much, much more.